the Quarterback Club of Fullerton College. The Quarterback Club congratulates the team, coaching staff, and Fullerton College in this, the 25th year of exciting Hornet football under the guidance of head coach Hal Scherbeck.
After 3 games, the Fullerton College Hornets had a record of 1-2 and had lost their Pac-9 opener to Cerritos. Many had doubts that the Hornets could repeat as conference champions. And now, after 6 games in 1985, Fullerton stands at 4-2 and have won their last 3 conference games. Last week's upset of Taft vaulted the Hornets into a first-place tie with Golden West in the Pac-9. Fullerton is back in the driver's seat again with a chance to determine their own destiny. Tonight, the Fullerton College Hornets entertain a most dangerous opponent, the Lancers of Pasadena College. After a slow start in 1985, Pasadena bounced back and upset Cerritos last week 41-38. For the Lancers, the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. Can the Hornets keep their momentum going after an emotional victory over Taft? Can the Lancers upset Fullerton and get back in the conference race? It'll all be answered in a few moments on the Fullerton College Television Network. Fullerton College Television presents Hornet Football. Tonight, the Fullerton College Hornets entertain the Lancers of Pasadena City College. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Fullerton District Stadium. Lon Brunk, Dave Lewis for you on the Fullerton College Television Network. And what we think is going to be a highly entertaining and the outcome, well, under much suspicion. David, the Fullerton College Hornets coming off an emotional victory over Taft last week, and really Pasadena an emotional victory over Cerritos at their stadium, Harrell Stadium. Good emotional letdown be a factor tonight.
I tell you, if there's any chance of that happening, it is tonight, because Fullerton upsetting the number 7 team in the country last week, Taft 20-6. We were on the sidelines. We felt that intensity, right? Was it something? Then Pasadena, a team that not many people thought of at the beginning of the season. Their worst start in 62 years, 0-3. They're playing good football of lately, upsetting Cerritos 41-38.
And some evidence from statistics could help us tonight, David. If we look at offensively, Fullerton and Pasadena will be able to see that there's good balance offensively, and defensively not quite the same balance. But before that, we were up there, as you said. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of that exciting FC win over Taft. Tell us what you saw and how you felt about that game up in the oil country.
I tell you what, following a Garabedian fumble on the punt return, I still say he didn't fumble it. Jason Phillips going up top to Andre Fields for the first touchdown of the game. The point after no good. 6-0 at the time. That's the way it ended at the end of the first half of play. Fullerton trailing 6-0. But then the Hornets started to move the ball in the second half. They were really stymied completely. Richard Williams knocked out in the second period of play. Neck injury, was really dizzy out there. Was not capable of going back in there. So John Green was ready to bolt over from the 1 to put the tying touchdown at 6-6. Point after no good. They came from behind for a pulsating 20-6 win.
And the Hankin touchdown put the Hornets to a 20-6 victory over Taft. And of course the Hornets means they're at the top of the Pac-9 conference standings. And right now Pasadena will kick off. Back deep for the Hornets is short man. Sendejas touches it. Ball's laying on the turf, recovered by the Hornets at the 17-yard line. A less than auspicious beginning for the Hornets. They do come up with the recovery. I believe number 20, Reggie Brown, got down to the turf and picked up the important recovery. So the Hornets under freshman quarterback Richard Williams. And Dave, as you said, knocked out last week against Taft, but everybody says he'll be all right. We'll have to see after he takes a hit or two if there's any repercussions from that event.
He was really dizzy, took a ferocious shot and wasn't capable of going back in there.
An interesting set for the Hornets. Poor at the bottom of the screen, in motion to the top. Williams with the lone back in Hankins. Hankins fights forward up the middle of that Pasadena Lancer team. Offensively for the Hornets, Richard Williams, the freshman quarterback. David coming in 3 games ago, turning things around against El Camino, and here's his offensive line. Knutson, Anderson, Katnick, Lopez, and West. Tommy Poor, the tight end. See a lot of Klinkenberg and Glenn Anderson, too. Gain of 4 for Hankins, 2nd down and 6 from the 23-yard line. Just underway here, first quarter of play at Fullerton District Stadium. Williams back to throw, short route by Jones, and he makes a good catch. Stays on his feet to the 30-yard line, a gain of 7. First down for the Hornets. Earl Jones, the freshman from Saddleback, getting an opportunity and doing well so far. That will be his 6th catch of 1985. The backfield for the Hornets. Williams at the helm at the running back position. Hankins and Green. We'll see a lot of Bennett and others. Rollins and Grimm, the starters, but we'll see a lot of Reggie Brown, number 20, and number 17, Earl Jones, the man who just caught that first down pass. From the 30, 1st and 10 from the Hornets. Hankins slot to the left this time, now in motion down to the bottom. Green, the remaining back, he gets the pitch. He cuts to the outside, but he can't get away from the Lancers. Number 28 coming up from the secondary to make the tackle, Avery Miller, defensive back from the strong safety position. Wright, Wiley, Thomas, Stevenson, McNair, not here. Sessa Passara and Stowers, I'll tell you about why McNair is not there anymore. You won't believe it, we didn't. We'll get the backfield in a minute. A loss of 1 for Johnny Green. Troy, Cobb at the corners, Ulaguano, yeah, I got it right, and Hicks.
I'll pay the $5 for getting that right after the game.
2nd and 11, Williams with a long 2nd down call. Poor in motion to the bottom. The Hornets might go to a lot of short stuff, zone coverage. Williams under pressure. He'll go down at the 24-yard line. Number 62, Ernie Gonzalez, in there along with number 51, Bellinger Williams, and help from Mike Sessa-Passara, 97 at the nose tackle position. So Richard goes down. Back to the 24-yard line now. That'll make up a 3rd and 15 for the Hornets.
I tell you, defensively for the Lancers, they don't do a lot of things tricky. They come right at you. They'll throw 6, 7 men at the line of scrimmage and come at you with barrels of flailing. And expect more of that as the game progresses. Head coach Bill Sandstrom taking over after Larry Reisbig went over to Cal State Long Beach as an offensive coordinator. 3rd and 16, the Hornets. They have a split backs. Green off to the right, but they'll throw to Hankins, and it's overthrown. He had a lot of territory in front of him. So the Hornets will have to cough it up on their first possession. And the ever-potent and ever-dangerous Pasadena Lancer offensive team will get a chance to show their wares. Troy Mike will be back for the Pasadena Lancers. That's right, Troy Mike, not Mike Troy. In for the Hornets. Standing at about his own 10. Punting it away will be Gus Madrigal, the guy who did a great job last week. This is a line driver. It pops up at the 37-yard line. Mike goes under the swarm of the Hornets. And the Lancers will take over from there. 38-yard punt for Madrigal, not much in distance. The Hornets special teams covering him well. Number 28, Charlie Santagato. And the official, Ron Rector, the Empire. Head linesman, Steve Crane. Referee, Larry Clanton. Brian O'Kane, the back judge. Field judge, Oscar Allen. 1st and 10, the Lancers. Number 8, Anthony Walker with the man, Brento Van, in the eye. We'll give you the rest of the offense when we can. 1st and 10 from the 40. In motion, Barnes, the tight end. A fake pitch. Walker wants to go long. He's got a man open. Miller catches it and goes off of his knee. Would you believe it? Anthony Miller, all alone at the 20, had the ball. His knee came up, it pops out. David, 6 points for the Lancers down the drain. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, but Anthony Miller is one of the most gifted players in the Pac-9. They said, don't let him get deep. Whatever you do, you can't let Anthony Miller get deep. Right out of the gates, they throw to Miller deep, isolated against Willie Mack. He dropped a sure touchdown.
Kawakawi, Dolan, Reap, Florence, and Harrell with Jeff Barnes, the tight end. The backs, Anthony Walker, the quarterback. Great play-action fake by Anthony Walker that time, and he almost got it to Miller. 2nd and 10, the Hornets. breathe deeply now. They know they just dodged a big bullet. This one to Van off the right side. He's knocked over, maybe a gain of 1 to the 42-yard line. 3rd down and 9. Brento Van, one of the more highly rated tailbacks in the United States, going 559 yards. Walker, the quarterback, 3rd string as started 1985. Miller and Blades, the split end and flanker. Evans and Van, they'll show a little bit of other people in there like the Hornets, kind of a cadre of running backs. 3rd and 8 from the 42. Van in the eye, Blades and Miller the wide receivers. The Hornets switch to a 3-3 kind of defense. They're coming after him. Screen set up, flags go flying. Walker's free, ball is an attempt made, but that'll be incomplete, and we'll have to wait and see what the call is on the flag. The Hornets, in kind of a strange defense, holding against the Lancers, probably will be declined. How'd you like that 3-3 setup that they came with, and they blitzed the 3 guys in the back in the linebacker position, David?
A unique set and something we'll expect to see later on. Alfiola will not hesitate to go to the nickel coverage, possibly 6 defensive backs, if Pasadena elects to throw the ball tonight.
They will talk it over down there on the field and discuss it. Number 89, Sean Carden. The Hornet defensive team, Zuniga, Unger, Healy, Koza, Stately up front. Carter and Page. Pete Carter not in the game, an injured back, Sean Carden, number 89. The Hornets on a 3rd down and 8. And Glima, Vanderstay, Malstead, Mack. Now Johnny Vanderstay, they thought he was going to make it, but the neck just won't allow him to do it, David. He's out there, and number 48, Phil Garabedian out of Anaheim, gets the big call.
4th down.
Well,
Ineligible receiver, downfield, offense, loss of down, 4th down.
Yeah, they're going to take that one because it means 5 yards and the loss of down. Willie Lujan, number 3, in to punt for the Pasadena Lancers. Garabedian and Brown back standing at their own 30-yard line. The Hornets got away with one on that first possession. High kick. Garabedian back there, but Brown will fair catch it at the 35-yard line. So the Hornets on their 2nd possession of the evening. And David, they really got away with one. Anthony Miller almost going for 6.
We talked to Jesperson. He said that Miller is as good as anybody that he's seen in JC football. And you talked to Marv Sampson before the game, the best receiver he has ever seen in 23 years at the JC level. Great speed. We found out TrackMan runs a 10.4, 100 meters, world-class time, very dangerous. And he'll be someone that the Lancers look to almost exclusively in the air attack.
He gets most of the catches on the wide receiver positions. The other guy, Blade, only has 2. 40-yard punt. The Hornets will get it from the 25-yard line. Again, a passing kind of formation. 1st and 10 for Richard Williams. Play action fake, rolls to the right. Williams under pressure, steps away, takes the short man, Tommy Poor. He cannot hang on to it at the 34-yard line. A lot of fumbleitis going along so far, David. Musa Kanicki chasing Richard Williams, but Richard showing good foot speed to get to the outside and really had the ball on target.
Very mobile, and Poor simply dropped the ball. Something that Hornets did on that occasion that the Pasadena Lancers do, a lot of misdirection and counter fakes, which kind of fools the defensive lineman and enables Williams to have some extra time to throw the football.
Richard, a 62%er passing on the year. That rates him as a number 1 in percentage in the Pac-9, even though he's really only been in about 4 games. 2nd and 10, the Hornets from the 25. A counter move to Johnny Green, and he's open at the 35-40. Stays on his feet to the 44-yard line. Green, a 19-yard run off the left side. Nice blocking.
Quick hitter. Green was at the line of scrimmage. I blinked twice and he was gone.
Excellent play by the Hornet offensive line, and against a pursuit-oriented defense that Pasadena has, those counter moves, screens, those kind of things may be the menu for tonight's offensive attack for the Hornets. That's always a way to counter against it, David, go the other way.
Pasadena is the type of team that really does a lot of talking on defense. They've always been the kind of team to really try to intimidate you verbally, and plays like that will shut them up in a hurry.
1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. We can't hear them from up here, but we know they're talking. Williams split backs. This time to Johnny Green off the right side. Cuts up inside the block over the 50 to the 49-yard line. The Hornet offensive line with Tommy Poore doing an excellent job. 87 blocking that time, pushing his man to the outside. Johnny Green again doing a great job cutting up inside the block for that quick yardage.
Doesn't need a lot of help though. James West with a good block and Dean Hankins fullback lead, but Green's the type of back that doesn't try to turn the corner and dance a lot of shifty stuff. When he sees a hole, he's running north and south right away.
They say he went down at the 49-yard line, gain of second down and 3. 9:57 to go, first period of play, no score. Fullerton College Hornets and the Pasadena Lancers. Should be a great one all night long. Williams may be checking off at the line with a 2nd and 3 call. Williams pitches to Green. Green with a lead block from Carlos Sendejas, and he is bulldog down at the 44-yard line. That'll be a gain of 5 and a first down for the Hornets. And Carlos Sendejas really didn't give much of a block, David, kind of a shadow block, and Green just went the way he wanted to go.
Great individual effort by Green and Harold Hicks that time. He said he bulldogged him. If he did that to my bulldog, I'd be in trouble with the Humane Society. But all individual effort that time on the part of John Green.
Of course, if you go to your house, you got to beware of the owner. Forget the dog, huh? 1st and 10, the Hornets from the 45. Johnny Green getting the bulk of the action as he has all year. 636 yards coming into tonight's game. That ranks him as number 2 in the Pac-9. Williams, play action fake, rolls to the right, steps up, has a man. Is it a reception? No, it hits the ground looking for Tommy Poore at the 33-yard line. So Richard Williams doing a lot of play action. And again, we talked about the pursuit of the Pasadena Lancers. A very quick team defensively. They'll come at you from many positions. They are last defensively in the Pac-9. But those numbers may be deceiving, Dave. If you take a look at the numbers, it says they're not a good defensive team in some of the scoring.
Well, I don't think they are. They only have 2 freshmen, make it everybody except 2 are freshmen, so they're starting to gel as a unit as the season progresses.
2nd and 10. Up the middle. Good gain inside the 40 for the Hornets. Dean Hankins, number 23, the fullback who rescued the Hornet wagon last week against Taft. I'll tell you, they circled around. He was the John Wayne of all the action. His 11 and 7-yard burst made the difference. And William Sampson, Lancer head coach, took over this season. And he took over a situation where there were a lot of freshmen, and they're really just starting to gel. The Hornet drive starting to gel now. It may stall 3rd and 3 from the 39-yard line. Hankins in motion. Williams on a quick set. Has a man open. Rollins first down inside the 30. Ball loose. It stays on the field and the Lancers have it. The ball came loose from Rich Rollins. I believe number 91, Alex Wright, from the outside linebacker position over there on the zone coverage and came up with the ball. So the Hornets moving well, but the young man, the sophomore from Servite, unable to hold it, David.
Pasadena's really conceding the short pass. They went that time with only 3 defensive backs and conceded the up and out pass for 7-8 yards. Rollins simply was tackled very aggressively and coughed up the football.
2 tight end formation. The only wide receiver, Anthony Miller, Van in the I position. This time Barnes in motion. They give it to Van. He pops up over the middle. Met by Unger, but he gets away and fights forward for 12 yards. Nick Unger, 75, had him. Brento Van came down out of the air, simply burst out of the grasp and gained 12 and a first down.
What a back from the flatlands of Oklahoma, and he's really mowing over the Hornet defense as if they were flat. He made a great run we saw last week against Cerritos, 31-yard touchdown, where he spun on the sideline, shook 2 or 3 tacklers, great power and good speed in the open field.
Leads the Pac-9 in scoring 8 touchdowns, averaging 7.4 per carry. He can do it. 1st and 10. Ball to 38. The Lancers can put the points on the board. They go outside to Van. He stays on his feet but cannot get away from David Zuniga, number 66, the first man there, and he got some help from his friends.
Forcing Walker to pitch the ball earlier than he wanted to was the key that time.
Van slow to get up after that carry, and the Hornets hit him hard from the inside. Terry Page, number 32, and Sean Carden coming from the inside linebacker position. The Hornets always get great pursuit from those inside linebackers off that Okie 5-2, Dave.
One of their traditions, they've been playing it for years. It's very simple. Not many people expect anything different from the Hornets. They come out and they hit with the inside guys, force with the corners on a run wishbone type team. You hope Van's not hurt because he's such a pivotal part of the Pasadena Lancer attack. if he goes out of the game, so many great things we want to talk about him all night long. If he's not in the game, it really damages their offensive hopes for this evening.
Well, Marv Sampson, Jeff Jesperson, the Hornets coaches, said that Van and Miller, two of the finest JC athletes they've ever seen. He looks like he's going to be all right. Coming out under his own power, perhaps had the wind knocked out of him. He's a tough guy. Pretty good size, too, 6 feet 190, but he looks a lot bigger than that. Out of Oklahoma, as David said. He's come to Pasadena, maybe visited for the Rose Parade and stayed here. We're not sure what the connection was. Second down and 10. No gain for Brento Van from the 38. Knox in motion to the top. Derek James, the reserve tailback. Hello. He flies up into the air to the 45-yard line, upended by the Hornets cornerback. Flag goes flying. Let's see who it's against. Anthony Miller and Willie Mack, 2 and 4 respectively, talking to each other, and let's see who's ticketed for the offense. Probably some words of endearment passed between those two.
Well, they want to edit parts of that conversation. It should be an unsportsmanlike conduct type of penalty. Pasadena on the offensive end line, they're not really tricky. They come at you.
Dead ball foul, personal foul against the Lancers. Also personal foul against the Hornets. Brings up 3rd and 3 at the 45 on such penalty.
Well, we assume that both of them got a word in edgewise. The official saying, look, we're going to keep this game under control. So a gain of 7 yards for Derek James, Van's replacement. Derek listed at 5'5", 155, and he looks to be about that size. The tailback position, 3rd and 3 from the 45-yard line. Knox in motion, pitch to James, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage, and the Hornets swarm around him at the 40.
Let's go through the Musketeer roll call of all the guys that got him. Minches, Zuniga, Unger, Koza, all swarming.
I believe Ben Vega was the first one there. And head coach Hal Scherbeck said after the game last week against Taft, might have been one of our biggest wins in my history. I was a little bit surprised by that statement, but it was a big win against Taft. Lou John, Mack, Spencer, flags fly. Garabedian does not fair catch it. Another flag will go down. Ball loose. Pasadena has it, but they did not give him room to catch the ball. Recovered by Charlie Richards, but I don't think the Lancers will get that. A flag back here on the punt. Another flag at the punt return. So we've got them bookend here.
We'll probably kick it over, it would appear.
Well, we know that they didn't give Phil Garabedian enough room back there to receive the ball. The flag on the other end we're not sure about. And I'm sure the officials down there are discussing it among themselves.
Charlie Richards was the man, 69 in the white, that got to Garabedian before the ball arrived and literally flattened him, so that interfering with his right to catch the football.
Well, you have to give him room. You need to give him that 5 yards or so to catch the ball. They give you a little bit of space within that. Let's see if we can sort it all out here.
Are we against the offense, which can be declined? Opportunity to make the catch on the kicking. First down.
He doesn't stutter. That's not Mel Tillis. It's just a little bit of cutting out, and David decipher all that for us.
Turns out there were 2 penalties, and the Hornets took the worst of 2 evils, if you will. Took the penalty for the interfering with the right to catch the football, which was a 15-yarder as opposed to the legal procedure, which was 5, and they get the football in a better field position. That deciphers all that mess. Doesn't it?
I think he did a real nice job. It also means first down at the 44. The Fullerton College Hornets, their 3rd possession of the evening. That second drive stalled with a Rich Rollins fumble. Other than loss of the ball, nothing really hurt that time. The Lancers unable to put points on the board. 6:10 first period, no score. Lon Brunk, Dave Lewis for you. Glad you could join us on the Fullerton College Television Network. Williams back to throw. Good protection this time. Over the middle, has a man. 35-yard line, Aaron Grimm.
Sweet hands, huh?
Aaron goes to the 40-yard line, and Aaron, a man who kind of surprisingly, David, leading the conference in receptions. Kind of snuck up on us with 29. That's number 1. Anthony Miller, we've certainly extolled his virtues early in the game, but he's only number 2, and Aaron says, give me some airtime too.
Aaron Grimm's kind of like the cat burglar. Puts on those gloves, doesn't even know that you're in his house after a while, but Anthony Miller's the kind of guy that just is the armored truck type robber. Aaron Grimm just sneaks up on you.
1st and 10, misdirection Hornets to Hankins inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Give him a gain of 2. That's the same play we saw with Johnny Green for a 19-yard burst on our first possession, Dave. That time they switched off and went to Hankins.
Well, apparently you'd key on a guy like Johnny Green, and that would enable a guy like Hankins to pop through really quick, make sure the plays delivered very rapidly before the Lancers can react defensively.
Hard to key on the Hornets, Dave. They're so balanced offensively in terms of rush and pass. 195.5 rush, 195.8 on the pass. Not bad at all. Williams looking for his man, and he can't bring it down, Rich Rollins. Rollins turned around and got a left hand on it, tried to bring it back down, and Richard that time just a foot or 2 off target.
That would have been a great catch. The Lancers are really throwing a lot of men at the line of scrimmage. 7, 8 men going with 3 defensive backs, 2 corners, and 1 safety. A lot of man-to-man coverage, and the Lancers really pop off a lot in the press. They say we can defend anybody man-to-man. But when you're last in the Pac-9 and pass defense, that remains to be seen.
Are they a big play defense, Dave?
Big play defense is that they give up the big play. That's their problem when you give up 35 points a game.
3rd and 9, the Hornets trying to keep their drive alive at the Lancer 39-yard line. Richard Williams, the freshman, stumbles, stays on his feet. Screen set up. Hankins falls down. That'll be the end of it, folks, right there. He had blocking Katnick in front of him along with Mike Knutson, but Hankins lost his footing and went down at the 43. That'll be a loss of 3 yards. And a 4th down. That'll bring in Gus Madrigal, number 35.
Can't fault the Hornets that time. Sherbeck can't be too upset. They executed very well. Hankins lost his footing. Otherwise, it would have been a very big game.
Troy Mike, number 5, back deep for the Lancers. He'll wait at his 10-yard line. Madrigal came in last week after 2 punts by Prohaska and really rocketed a few against Taft. This one, was it blocked? It falls. It goes inside at 10. Down inside. It's knocked back. Let's see where they're going to give it coverage. Sam Tuatasia, number 4 on the depth chart on the tight end, but he got down there in good fashion. That will take it at the 5-yard line. Good punt coverage by the Hornet specialty teams.
So much for a block punt, huh? And also Keith Minch is the man to flick it back once it got near the goal line. That enabled the Hornets to really pin the Lancers deep in their own territory. Madrigal
appeared to take quite a bit of time on that punt as if he was kind of sizing it up, perhaps reading the label or 2.
Where did they get this kid, too? We've seen Prohaska all year, the Hornet punting game very inept. He comes into Taft, Kern County, and just rockets them.
Al Sherbeck has him waiting. From the 5, 1st and 10 Lancers. Brento Van back to tailback position. That's good to see. In motion, Mike Knox. Walker will go long and over the outstretched hands of Willie Mack. Great double-team coverage from Willie Mack and Jeff Malstead, number 7. How about Phil Garabedian, number 48, stepping in the heat of it all for Johnny Vanderstay, who had a kind of not a neck fracture or anything, but really took a hard blow to the back of the neck, and they held him out of tonight's game.
There's a contusion on the vertebrae, to use the medical terminology, and he tried to practice the beginning part of this week, and they really had to take him off the field on Monday. Really couldn't go. They feel in his best interest it's best to keep him out tonight.
Freshman Anthony Walker at the helm for the Lancers, 46% passer. They have not been able to pass very well, the Lancer offense. This time a pitch to Brento Van. Coming up to meet him, Willie Mack in the cornerback position. He gets to the 10-yard line before he's brought down by 75. Nick Unger, Willie Mack, number 4. Also some help from Jeff Malstead, number 7.
I tell you, he's something. Terry Page thought he had him, came up with air. Van spun away, a la Tony Dorsett, picked up the sizable gain for the Lancers.
We would surmise that the scouting services know about Brento Van, those who are looking for 4-year running backs.
Check the classifieds, yeah.
Harvey Hyde, the ex-Pasadena City College coach, now UNLV. He may have a pipeline, do you think?
Could be. A lot of former Dina players go over to UNLV.
3rd and 4, gain of 6 for Van. Back to throw, Walker has a tight end open. Jeff Barnes to the 24-yard line and a 1st down. Barnes, second leading receiver on the team. They throw to the tight ends quite a bit. That's number 13 reception for Barnes. Number 84, good size too. 6'4", 230. They really like his work from the tight end position.
Does a lot of things well. Good speed once he gets open, and a solid blocker too. And something that Coach Fiola talked to us before the game is that he's really afraid of them using the tight end and the backs coming into the backfield because Miller's so dangerous or keying on him so much. If you get the other guys involved, they're going to be in big trouble defensively.
1st and 10 Lancers from the 25. Knox in motion. Walker on a keeper, goes over the left side. Squirts forward to the 31-yard line. Gain of about 6 yards, make it 2nd down and 4. Anthony Walker was 3rd string on the depth chart for the Pasadena Lancers, David, in 1985 began. Andy Nicasso quits. Eric Moore was the 2nd man. He took over, and he was a 50% passer. Not really too bad, 482 yards. And last week, they went to Anthony Walker, number 8, and he responded with 41 points and a big PCC victory.
They really respect what you do in practice. That's what counts. So that's what Walker did. He really earned his wings on the practice field.
2nd and 4. Van up the middle, stays on his feet, will fight forward near the 1st down. Right at the teeth of that Hornet defense. That's no easy job to do. 32, Terry Page on the tackle.
David Florence and Chuck Reed opening up the hole for Brento Van. He doesn't need much either. We're going to watch one of the premier running backs in JC football that we've seen this season.
They will measure it. It appears to be a little short from here. Offensively, Dave, you talked about the Lancers starting a lot of freshmen on defense, and they lost a really important member of the defensive team. Reggie McNair, number 59, who was 2nd team All-Pac 9 last year. Told you it was short. Bring up a 3rd
You knew it all the time, huh?
Reggie McNair, after a big win over Cerritos, quits the team.
Was their best player defensively last year as a nose man, moved him to defensive tackle this year, and was really outstanding. Probably their best player so far this year. Had some injury problems, hamstring. The best game they played of the season, 41-38 emotional, and he just packs the things in his old kit bag and says bye-bye. What a loss for Pasadena, and I'll never use that old kit bag line again, by the way you looked at me.
Well, you remember the old Peggy Lee song, Is That All There Is? Perhaps that's what he thought and got out of it while it was at the top.
I don't go back to Peggy Lee like you do.
Yeah, everybody has a record player. Harold, Florence, and Reap, left side and the center for Pasadena, all freshmen too, so they're into it thick in the 1985 season. 3rd and about a foot. Goal line defense for the Hornets. Blades in motion to the top. On a keeper, Walker, he'll have it over the 35. Anthony Walker following freshman Chuck Reap, number 50. And Walker at the top of the heap, led by Chuck Reap. Okay. That's a 1st and 10 for the Lancers. They have gone a long way already, David. They had a long way to go. Back at the 5-yard line, the Gus Madrigal punt pinned them deep, and they've done a nice job so far.
Well, they're not the type of team to churn out the long 10, 12-play drives. They're the kind of team that strikes quickly from any point of the field.
A minute 40 to go. First period of play, no score. Van in the eye. Blades, who sets up in the slot, will go to the right and block, and Van over the right side. Van will get to the 42-yard line, gain of 5. Keith Menches, number 96, put a big paw out and tripped him up, but Brento Van is the type of back, David, who you hit him and you think you have him for maybe a 2-yard gain. He falls forward, stretches out, and he's got another 3.
The thing about him is the Pasadena people say, this guy doesn't look like a football player. Walks around in his jeans and in street clothes. This guy doesn't have a football physique, and you put the uniform on and suddenly has that big S on his shirt and cape and is flying all over the place.
Or perhaps a big P. Timeout for the Hornets. Defensively, perhaps trying to make a change. I think they had, did they have 12 men on the field? No, I think they only had 11. Perhaps they just didn't like the alignment they were in that time. Jeff Jesperson, the defensive line coach, will call the troops together. Pasadena will get together and talk it over. No score, 58 seconds to go. Jeff Jesperson in his 6th year here at Fullerton, David, and you had a chance to talk to him, and we'll have that for the folks at halftime, and he's a piece of work.
Really an interesting guy. You watch him on the field, and he's really known for being somewhat, how shall we say, intense, to say the least, once the ball's out on the field. but off the field, really equally warm and nice, and an interesting interview. Nice family man.
Beat him at halftime. David with the Hornet profile for this week. Jeff Jesperson, defensive coach for the Hornets. Hal Scherbeck, you saw him walk across your screen, and how about that young fella? 195 victories in his career. Silver anniversary season. We've talked about that as the season has progressed, and he would like to get by. And you know, the Hornet coaching staff, Dave, is very worried about tonight's game. I went up to Coach Marv Sampson, the quarterback and receivers coach, and I said, is all this stuff about an emotional letdown after a big game, is that things that only broadcasters and parents and fans worry about? He said, heck no. Coach is worrying more about it. He says it's real. They try to guard against it, but what can you do?
I tell you, I talked to Bob Mitchell and Jerry Mejia before the game, and I asked him the same question. What about this letdown stuff? He said, nah, no problem at all. Then you go to Jeff Jesperson. He says he's scared to death.
Yeah, it depends on the source. 2nd and 5. Walker and the Lancers already with a 35-yard drive. Coming from the 5-yard line. Again, Knox in motion. They use this a lot. Van is hit and goes down for a gain of 2. Brento Van coming up from the bottom, number 32, Terry Page, and isn't he having a great season? Page with 21 tackles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 forced fumble. Yeah, he's been active, and he was even out a couple games.
With a back injury,
yes,
and his colleague from last year, Pete Carter, back injury out for the season, so really he has to carry the bulk of the work from the linebacker spot.
Willie Mack has Anthony Miller on a 3rd and 3. Halstead will now come over and help him double cover. 3rd and 3. Roll out. Walker has a man open. Great catch. Knox inside Hornet territory at the 44-yard line. Mike Knox, and they were worried about the tight ends. Tight ends altogether have 16 catches on the season, so yeah, they keep them busy.
And so far, the Hornets haven't played a team that really has utilized the tight end. Last year, a guy that comes to mind, Ken Major from Golden West, a guy that they use at the tight end spot. But so far, the Hornets haven't had anybody as an opponent that used that man as an offensive weapon. Tonight, they go against the Lancers who use it very effectively.
That'll do it. The end of the first period of play here from Fullerton Municipal Stadium. No score. Lancers driving. And the Hornets and the Lancers, what we thought it would be, Dave. Kind of a physical encounter here, and perhaps both teams feeling each other out. The Hornets really did dodge a bullet on the very first play from scrimmage.
Well, we expected a shootout. That's what you were telling me, didn't you say? A lot of points. The first play of the game, Anthony Miller going deep, and he beat Willie Mack, simply didn't come up with the football. Otherwise, he was long gone off to the races. And Fullerton blew a chance when Rylands fumbled the football on their second possession of the game. So we could have possibly a 7-8 side, but looking at the statistics, we really expected a game projecting into the 30s for each side.
If you just look at numbers, sometimes you can be totally fooled, but it's early. Second period of play. Hornets and the Lancers, no score. 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line. Hornet territory. The Hornets switching around on defense, something they do quite readily. Blades in motion to the bottom. Walker, backside pressure, ball up and caught. Nope, it goes out of the hands. Number 84, Jeff Barnes. Walker doing a good job to launch it over the outstretched hands of the Hornet defenders.
Something you're going to have to watch for from Walker is to contain him. A guy like him throws well on the run, and they design a lot of plays sprinting out and controlling the pocket, moving around, so the Hornets will have to adjust and funnel him in, and guys like Zuniga and Stately will have to apply that pressure from the outside and force him into the pocket.
Walker, not a prolific passer, 19 of 41 coming into the game with 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, but he's a leader. That's what they like about him, as the Hornets do about Richard Williams, both of them freshmen.
They expect different things from the quarterbacks. Fullerton more of the drop back. Pasadena, you have to do a lot of things running from the veer.
2nd and 10, ball on the turf. Hornets come up with a fumble. David Zuniga. Fumble recovery for David. That will be number 4 in 1985. Is he having a heck of a year in the defensive end position?
He has really emerged as one of the leaders and standouts, and you talk to him and give you candid answers about the problems on defense and the things they have to do. And he's really been a steady performer from game 1 against Rancho San Diego. Has carried it through. Here we are against Pasadena. Outstanding season.
You have to have guys around David who know how to win. David Zuniga's one of them. So the Hornets with a big turnover, 1 apiece now for both teams. From the 45. Good field position as they start their possession here in the second period of play. to Green. Green up the middle to the 49-yard line. Give him a gain of 4.
By number 97, Mike Barca.
Johnny Green getting the bulk of the action as he has all year long. Like Brento Van of the Pasadena Lancers, he's pretty much the guy they go to. They set up their rushing offense for him. John, 102 carries, 636 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And he's averaging about 106 yards per game, but perhaps never a finer moment than his 24 carries last week against Taft. Really did yeoman duty.
I tell you, he was something, a lot of tough yards.
2nd and 6, the Hornets in a passing formation. This time, Grimm in motion to the bottom. They hand it on the inside counter. Green stays on his feet to the 45-yard line and may have a first down. In the arms of Dexter Stowers, and Dexter's no little guy, 6'4", 245, and Johnny says, I've got somewhere to go.
A lot of things that the Hornets are doing defensively are on the offensive end tonight. A lot of traps that they really haven't used that exclusively, with the exception of Hankins. Or with John Green tonight, that time trap blocking with James West, enabling Green to spring for the first down.
John did get the first down, a gain of 6 for him. 1st and 10, the Hornets. They're at the 45-yard line of the Lancers. Nobody's been able to cross the goal line yet. 13:49 to go, second period of play. Williams back to throw. Nice protection. Screen set up for John Green. Green fights off a tackle. Stays on his feet at the 35. Makes a move inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. John Green.
That's blue collar work, I tell you.
John gets up and says, Brento who? Johnny Green, Brento Van, certainly two of the finest JC tailbacks, not in the state of California, perhaps in the entire nation.
2 of the top 3 in the conference, and we saw one earlier in Johnstown from Bakersfield. Green was just outstanding that time.
Well, an 18-yard burst and a 19-yarder earlier, so he can run off the big one. And David, let's take a look at it again.
Standard 4-man rush by Pasadena. They nearly get him as a good block by Santiago Lopez to spring him, and John Green does the rest. Lower his shoulders and do that yeoman work.
Russell Thomas, number 94, had the first shot, but Johnny Green escaped that tackle. And the pass goes for 18 yards and a first down to the 27-yard line. So the Hornets have shown an ability to move the ball, Dave, but drives have stalled. They've not been able to get across the goal line thus far. 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Cleo Bennett, back up, tailback, now in motion to the top. Hankins just gets the ball, and he's ridden down. Number 99, Stowers, gets him, and a flag goes flying in an area most people would say good chance to have some holding calls.
I'd say a 50-50 this time, and the Lancers pointing to the Hornets side, so that's probably what it will be.
After a week plagued by penalties against Taft, this is a pretty good start for the Hornets penalty-wise. They have 17 last week for like 189 yards, almost 2 football fields.
Something ridiculous, and overcoming several turnovers too. All the turnovers, all the penalties, and you still upset the number 7 team in the country. It was quite a feat indeed.
Offense, 10 yards, down.
He called it. Offense holding against the Hornets. That'll move it back to the 37-yard line. Promising drives can go down quickly with penalties. The Hornets saw that last week. Now first down and 20. Hankins in motion. Green a remaining setback. Under pressure, Williams will keep it himself. Now he throws it, coming back for the ball very well. Aaron Grimm for the reception. I don't know where they will mark it because he went out of bounds at the 30. But it looks like they'll mark it somewhere back near the original line of scrimmage. A gain of 10 for Aaron Grimm. Really nice effort by Richard Williams.
They came after him, 6-man rush, and Dexter Stowers. That sounds like a chemistry student, doesn't it? Well, he's anything but.
You're up here calling him that, though.
If I was down on the field, I'd call him a football player. And he's a darn good one. Nearly had Richard from the weak side, but Richard felt the pressure, rolled to his right, and good ad-lib by Aaron Grimm coming back to help his quarterback.
Excellent move. They practice that. That's no accident. They see it in practice all the time. If it breaks down, come on back to the quarterback, and maybe you'll get the football. 2nd down and 11, so they give him a gain of 9. Hank is in motion to the top part. Back to throw Williams. Plenty of time. Pumps once, pumps twice. Finds Poor at the 20. Lead block at the 10. 5 out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
from a man whose hero is Fred Flintstone. Can you believe it?
Tommy Poor and John Green doing a nice job. Richard Williams, pump fake, froze the secondary. He looked off to his second man. Tommy Poor, number 87, the sophomore, 6'2", 215 from Canyon, and he's worked his way up the depth chart too, down to the 1-yard line this time. The Hornets first and goal from the 1.
Primarily a kid on special teams last year and has now emerged as a guy from the tight end spot who's capable of going deep.
A 26-yard gain takes it to the 1-yard line. Bennett at the I-back. First back is Hankins. Touchdown, Fullerton. Number 23, Dean Hankins, carries across his 4th touchdown of the year. 2 of them ever so big last week against Taft College, 11-7, this time a 1-yard burst. Todd Reynolds in for the PAT. So at the 11:59 mark, the Hornets go 55 yards for that drive. It's down to Wardy Holding, it's up, it's away, and it's good. 7-0 Hornets, second period of play. They have not worried about giving it to Dean Hankins. A lot of people will key on the tailback, but they'll give it to the fullback and let the offensive line do their share.
He's a bread and butter kind of guy. He had really tough yards last week, 45 against Taft. Summation of that drive, 6 plays, 55 yards.
And of course, the big one, a 26-yard pass from Richard Williams to Tom Poor, an 18-yard pass from Richard Williams to John Green, although John should get most of that on rushing yardage. The Hornets up 7-0. Pasadena Lancers, certainly a team able to come back, evidenced by last week. Fell behind early to Cerritos, came back storming and finally won it. David?
Dean Hankins from a yard out, not a lot to talk about that time. Kadnick and Knutson and Anderson leading up front, enabled Dean to roll in from 1 yard out.
From Montrose, Colorado, Dean Hankins.
Remember his brother Doug played here last year too.
Doug Hankins was a linebacker. Schabowski will kick it from the 40. A short kick at the 10-yard line, picked up by Anthony Miller. Miller high steps it along the sidelines and will go out of bounds at the 27-yard line. And when he touches the ball, you have to hold your breath on the opposite side. Not a bad kickoff returner, David.
Well, he's just dangerous. Had touchdown returns in each of the first 2 games. And as one of the top kick returners in the Pac-9, we saw him with Anthony Drawhorn. He rates number 2 with a 33-yard average on kickoff returns, so he's a guy that can go coast to coast at any moment.
Unfortunately, if you talk to Bill Sandstrom, he says, look, we're returning too many kickoffs. He'd rather not have quite so many. That means the other team is scoring. 1st and 10 from the 27. Anthony Walker still at the helm. Knox in motion. Give the van with a hole open, but it closes quickly. Hello. Tommy Englima, number 40. Jeff Malstead in there to help. John Healy from the nose tackle position. Page and Carden from the inside linebackers. Looked like he had room to roam.
It did initially on the moment of the snap. Looked like Brento had some room to roll, but Englima, he's one of those nuts and bolts guys, really strong hitter from the cornerback spot, came in and was the man to make the initial contact on Van.
Of course, the Hornet defense perennially tough against the rush. That's the case so far again this year, David. They are number 2 in the Pac-9 against the rush, number 2 in defense overall. 2nd and 9, gain of 1 for Brento. Walker on a long count, back to throw. Zuniga, pressure on. Miller has the ball. He gets away and fights forward to the 38-yard line. Willie Mack had him. Anthony Miller shook away, made about 5 more yards.
Well, I think last week he used a line quicker than a bad blind date. You must have been a bad blind date. That's where you got that. But he's a guy that the Hornets feel like you're going to concede the short pass. Let him catch the ball 5, 6, 7 yards, but don't let him get deep because he's a type of receiver. You give him 20, 30 yards, he's off to the races.
Well, I married the first woman that went out with me twice. Miller out of Muir High School in Pasadena from the 39, 1st down and 10. In fact, both wide receivers from Muir High School in Pasadena. Big power up there in that area. Under pressure, Walker tries to get it away. Intercepted. Tommy Englima, number 40.
The Braille Lindegrad, almost a mirror of the one he had last week against Taft, his 2nd of the season. In fact, Lon, the scouting reports that the players get going into the Taft game, it said on the front of Tommy's, you need a pick bad, pick being interception. Got one last week, this week against Pasadena.
Well, I wonder what he'll write next week if that's what he got from writing it down. He is the kind of guy you were talking about, not blessed with great size and ability, but what a worker. Saw him last year. He was third man on the depth chart, got into the Pony Bowl, had to play, and did he do a job against Saddleback. A big victory for the Hornets. Now the 1985 season. The conference championship still in doubt from the 50. Hornets with great field position. Williams, all kinds of time. Over the middle. And Grimm fell down, couldn't quite hang on to it. He wasn't trying to go down. I think he just got his cleats stuck in the grass and went down. Turf in too good a shape right now. Too much footing this time. And if you've come to the games this year, and if you haven't, shame on you, first of all. But if you have come to the games here at Fullerton Municipal Stadium, you'll notice that the field is in much improved condition. They spent $18,000 on it. And even the lights look brighter in 1985.
Are they brighter?
I think they are. 2nd and 10 from the midfield stripe. Grimm in motion.
They come.
Williams, quick hitter, intercepted at the 50-yard line. Cobb will go out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Glenn Cobb, a ball off of Aaron Grimm. And that's not really Richard Williams' fault, Dave. That's just one of those things that happens.
They came at him, 6-7 men coming in with a head of steam. They tried to get the play off and develop it quickly, and really a timing type play that just flicked off the fingers of Aaron Grimm, and fortunately for the Hornets, the ball wasn't run back all the way for a touchdown.
Well, Grimm was in motion back towards the line of scrimmage, and that time he is the release man on that play, so Richard went to the right guy. More importantly for the Lancers, short field from the 39-yard line. So trading interceptions to Van. Van pushed outside. Van goes down off the 5.
Knox really missed a block that time. Stately came in, forced the play to be strung out outside, and that's where Anglima was to make the tackle.
Chris Stately, we've heard earlier in the year, wanted to go to a hypnotist, and it's helped him.
Hypnotist, huh?
Hypnotist, yes, indeed. He's not dazed by the Hornet first quarter stats, though, Dave.
Not the offensive shootout we expected. Total 69 yards for PCC, 61 for Fullerton.
Turnovers, evening out two apiece. Stately, here he comes, ball's loose. Hornet recover.
I thought he was throwing it. I thought he was throwing the football, didn't you?
Recovered by number 66, David Zuniga, in his second.
Questionable call. Walker down. Zuniga, fumble recovery number 2. Actually, it looked as if he was bringing the ball up to cock it in position. And that time they called it that he did not have forward progress with the ball, but was only coming up to throw it.
Well, if you can say that, Steve, take a look at it because it's well worth looking at again. I thought Walker's arm was going forward, which would have been an incomplete forward pass.
Turnabout fair play. 3 turnovers in 2 minutes of play here. 9:44 to go, second period. The Hornets gain about 1 yard on that changeover to the 49-yard line in Lancer territory. David Zuniga, hello. Richard. Blitz is on. Out that man is Hankins. Hankins at the 40. Hits Tom. Hankins the 36-yard line. Dean Hankins all year long has been able to do it with the rush and with the pass. In fact, from the fullback position for the Hornets, he is ranked number 6 in the Pac-9 with 20 receptions and an average of 9.0. Not too bad for a fullback.
You really like Dean Hankins. He does so many little things out there. He blocks well, gets those tough yards up the middle on the traps and counter plays, comes out of the backfield. Really a steady guy to have in there.
The touchdown man for the Hornets gives them a first down. A gain of 13 to the 36-yard line. Green remaining back. Hankins in motion to the bottom. Pitch to John Green. Blockers up front. Johnny, high hurdles. Flags fly.
They called Hankins on the hold. He was the man that made the block, or maybe he did something illegal to make that play possible.
Saturday night at the wrestling matches in Hankins had a block. thrown, and really a good gain, and nice play by John Green will be negated.
Alex Wright was the man that had a shot at him, and Hankins looked like he threw a good block.
Offense, first down.
And Dean wasn't too happy about it.
A few technical glitches, but it'll be all right. We'll get it straightened out. Hang in there. Have a little bit more popcorn.
Will you pass me mine?
99, Dexter Stowers, you saw him there, the stalwart defensive tackle for the Lancers. So back to the 45-yard line. First down and 18. That's where they take the holding from the point of infraction, so it's not a loss of 10, only a loss of 8. Williams under pressure. Williams will go down, tries to throw it, and they're going to say he was throwing the ball, and nope, they're going to say he was down at the 43-yard line. Good call by the official.
Either way, they would have lost. Intentional grounding would have been loss of down plus a penalty. Instead, it was the sack.
So a promising drive, not looking quite so promising. From 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line, the Hornets now back in their own territory at the 45. Must go to the 32-yard line. And a replay, David.
Williams in big trouble, 6-man front, hit from the blind side, and Richard really never had a chance.
Ernie Gonzalez, a very fine linebacker, came in that time. He plays on that 4-down lineman defense for the Lancers, doing a great job. Williams, with time this time, steps up inside the pocket. Williams goes long, and Rollins can't hang on to it at the 30. Richard Rollins cannot hang on to it. The ball right on the money.
Oh, fabulous play by Williams. Stepping up into the pocket, avoiding the pressure, firing a rocket across the field to his intended receiver, Rollins. And Richard, I don't know, it's a good place to hit him right in the breadbasket. Now he simply couldn't hang on to the football.
Well, he hit him in a spot he wasn't able to hang on to it. Rollins will come out. Carlos and Dejas in for Dean Hankins. So Grimm goes to the top. Green and Earl Jones to the bottom of your screen. Third down from the 44-yard line. 3rd and 25. Shotgun, flags fly. Too much time, I believe. See what they call. Procedure call. The Hornets moving backwards as effectively as they moved forward on the last possession, David.
Like there's a sign that says do not enter one way. They're only going in reverse.
Ball, full start, offense, still 3rd down.
They had some problems last week with some delay of game penalties. In fact, remember at the beginning of the Taft game, they started with a no-huddle offense. It was coming and calling their plays, called 3 or 4 of them before the game started.
3rd down and another zip code for the Hornets inside their own 40 to the 39. Must go to the 27-yard line of the Pasadena Lancers. Even the Postal Service may not want to mail this one. Richard Williams will mail it. He'll go over the middle, incomplete. Is there a flag? No flag, yes there is. A flag thrown against the Lancers. Number 90 in on the coverage, Steve Moore from the linebacker position. Johnny Green would not have had the first down. That's the kind of play. Let them catch it. They still have 4th and a whole lot, and let's see what they call.
If it had caught the ball, it would have been 20 yards shy of the first down.
That's a break for Fullerton. They will have a first down. Perhaps if they take it at the point of infraction, I believe it'll still not give the Hornets a first down. We'll see what they do with it. Not really even marked at the point where the infraction occurred, Dave. That's 5 yards further up.
Deep interference, spot foul within 15 yards, first down.
Did give him the first down.
First down.
Talk about dumb penalties. What about the one last week? 4th and 57 with Taft. They roughed the punter, and Fullerton goes on to score a critical touchdown to put him ahead, 13-6. 4th and 57.
57 to go, and they roughed the kicker. No need for it. Taft was going to get the ball in good shape, and that's why coaches grow old quickly. They have a home for coaches, I believe. Al Baldock may be applying quickly. The game was not in doubt at that point, Dave. I believe the score tied at 6. Yes, it was. So Richard Williams and the Hornets with a break. penalty against the Lancers hurts them defensively. From the 47-yard line, 1st and 10. Green in the eye.
Changing the play.
Green off the left side. Green slips down with a little help. And he's helped back up. Dexter Stowers, number 99, your chemical major, David, mixing it up down there with the Hornets. And John Green, no gain, just back to the line of scrimmage. Actually, John went down self-preservation.
Otherwise, Dexter would have lowered the boom. Tommy Poore missed the block. That was his responsibility on that side of the field.
Maybe a gain of a half a yard. Let's make it 2nd down and 10 at any rate. Grimm and Jones, the wide receivers. Hal Scherbeck and company on the sidelines. They know they have their hands full tonight. Williams, play action fake and rolls to the right. Screen set up. Green has it. Alex Wright has John Green. Somebody missed the block.
Either Kadnick or Santiago Lopez. Both of them shaking their heads as they go back into the huddle.
Again, as efficient as the Hornets were on their touchdown drive of 55 yards, not doing things well in the last 2 possessions, although you might say that it's not a surprise that Pasadena has made defensive adjustments to what the Hornets were doing. We'll be back in a moment with more Hornet football after this brief pause for a tape change by your local channel.
The Irvine Company, long associated with the growth and the finest in Orange County, is pleased to be a major underwriter of Hornet football. The Irvine Company and Fullerton College, synonymous with the winning tradition that is Orange County. Production funding in part for Hornet football has been provided by the Quarterback Club of Fullerton College. The Quarterback Club congratulates the team, coaching staff, and Fullerton College in this, the 25th year of exciting Hornet football under the guidance of head coach Hal Scherbeck.
Back with action, 6:25 to go, 2nd period of play. Lon Brunt, Dave Lewis on the Fullerton College Television Network, 7-0 Hornets. Williams back to throw with time. Williams over the middle, almost intercepted, and Steve Moore jumping up and down and says, Coach, I should have had it.
I don't know if he phrased it quite like that. Can you read it from way up here?
I edited it somewhat for the general consumption of our cable audience, being the family members that they are. Earl Jones, the freshman receiver, Seaview League Player of the Year on defense last year. Gus Madrigal back at his 30. A good snap. Here comes the pressure. Gus gets it away. How does he do it? My, oh my. Troy Mike at the 15-yard line. And Gus Madrigal maybe take up a new profession, magic. How did he get it in there? A great move. He faked it, stepped up inside the rush of number 91, Alex Wright, and got that punt away.
Still looked like even after he dodged the initial man to apply the pressure, which was Alex Wright, that he still was going to have it blocked. How he got it off, you figure out at home.
And not a bad punt either, about 40 yards back to the 16-yard line, 1st and 10. Near disaster averted. 6:03, plenty of time for the Lancers to get on the board here, 2nd period of play. Walker back to throw, Walker to Miller. Miller over the middle, stays on his feet. Terry Page comes to help from the linebacker position and knocks him down at the 24-yard line. A gain of 7 yards. Not only can Anthony Miller catch the ball, David, he appears to know what to do with it after he has it.
How would you like to be Willie Mack and assigned to defend him the whole night? That's like being sentenced to the electric chair.
Miller 521 yards in receptions this year. Came into the game with 26, an average of 20 yards per catch. Number 2 in the conference. Walker under pressure. He slips out of it. He won't go down before he has the first down at the 30. Gus Madrigal did it, and now Anthony Walker.
He really scooted out of the pile that time. Zuniga darn near had him, jumped up to block the pass that was never thrown, and Walker tucked underneath and picked up a small gain for the Lancers.
Zuniga will come out. John Healy, the mini fridge, goes in at the nose tackle position.
Put him in the mobile home, huh?
Put him in a mobile home. I wondered about William Perry, the refrigerator. I wonder if the light goes out when he puts his helmet on. 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. Brento Van in the eye. Back to throw. And he throws it away. Walker, wait a minute. We got a flag in the middle of the play. I think Ben Vega got some extracurricular hit on Anthony Walker, the quarterback of PCC. Let's wait and see. Yep. Ben Vega couldn't hold up, took a shot at number 8, Anthony Walker. And Brento Van took a shot, really, from Terry Page. That could have been 2 penalties.
I tell you, I've seen more contact watching couples at a drive-in. Vega really didn't apply that much pressure on Walker.
1st and 10 for the Lancers at their own 44.
I go to a lot of drive-ins, you know.
Defense, 1st down.
15-yard mark-off will bring it up to the 44-yard line. So the Lancers, helped by the penalty, 4:52 to go, second period of play. They trail by 7. The Hornets on a 55-yard drive. Hankins going over from the 1. Walker throws. Walker to Miller. Out of his hands, incomplete.
Walker's pass intended for number 2, Miller.
Miller may have been looking downfield a little bit. Looks like he turned his head just a little, Dave, as the ball was caught. He had a lot of people coming at him from the inside position. That'll make you look.
You see all the attention he gets when the ball's thrown near him, or if he has a chance to catch it. 5 or 6 Hornets come swarming after him because they know once he gets the football, it's all over. 10-4, world-class speed.
A sea of blue surrounding Anthony Miller, and why not? He has 26 receptions. The other starting wide receiver for the Lancers, only 2, Al Blaze, and he's not bad himself. It's just that Miller gets the bulk of the work.
Fiola was telling us that he's the kind of kid that pro scouts are watching right now and following his progress at the JC 4-year level and really licking their chops at this point.
Timeout, Pasadena, 4:49, 2nd down and 10 from the 44-yard line. Again, we'll remind you, stick around at halftime. Don't go too far away. David talked to Coach Jeff Jesperson, the defensive coach for the Hornets, and I know you'll be interested in seeing him. And David, you talked to him about things other than football.
Well, that's something that you really like to hear from. These guys, obviously, they like football and the things that they get out of their program and seeing kids progress, but some of the insightful things like, you know, the family life, and this man Jesperson has 4 lovely daughters. Interesting names. We'll talk about that later at the half.
Also, we'll have trainer Bill Chambers up here. Last week we had SID Kathleen Lilly, and we're trying to bring you some of the people connected with Hornet football. Bill will be up here as we go into the second half of play, and you're going to like him too. One of the real fine people you're ever going to meet. He's been around here a long time himself.
I tell you, really a gentleman and a pleasure to talk to before each and every game. Informative, and keeps those guys in the blue and gold out there healthy, and some of them limping week by week, but he keeps them on the field and really does an outstanding job. The honors that he's received in his years as the trainer are simply numerous. Trainer of the year several times at the JC level.
In fact, 5 of the last 9 years, Bill Chambers has been the JC trainer in America. And I asked him what happened the other 4 times, and he said, well, I didn't count the ballots those years. So. 2nd and 10, Walker with Brento Van and Derek Evans in the backfield, 2 wide receivers to the bottom. The Hornets don't come. Walker checks off, goes to the other side. Terry Page has Brento Van at the 40. A loss of 4 yards.
Late hit.
Loss of 4.
That's going to be against Pasadena. I think they came in late, David.
Dead ball foul. Personal foul.
All evens out, doesn't it?
What goes around comes around, and I'm sure the Lancer coach Bill Sandstrom says, look, that play was way over with. Let's take our loss, get back in the huddle, and go 3rd down and 14. The dead ball foul will move it back to the 25-yard line.
Dead ball foul, personal foul, offense, 3rd down.
3rd down from the 25 to the 47-yard line. Make that 28 yards to go. Not too many calls for this particular situation, Dave.
Going to the air, no doubt about it.
2 wide receivers to the top. Let's see if the Hornets bring the inside linebackers on a blitz. They do not. Pressure on, though. Walker skirts away, but he can't get away from Chris Stately. Ben Vega and company at the 25-yard line.
Chris Stately.
How about Ben Vega? 12 total tackles in the year. 4 quarterback sacks. He helped on that one, getting half of that one.
One of those guys in the defensive end spot that are those sack specialists. We've seen Steve Summers last year, Todd Harrington, those guys that are really quick, not the tremendous strength and size, but really move around well on the football field.
Willie Lujan back, pressure's on, he gets it away. Garabedian at the 34-yard line. Garabedian tries to get to the outside, stays on his feet to the 40.
Late hit on the other end this time.
Penalty flag down one more time. A 42-yard effort by Willie Lujan. About a 5-yard return and clipping against Fullerton.
They really got away with one that time. There's a look at Phil Garabedian. Set up the only Taft score last week with a fumble. I swear he never fumbled the ball. Went down on the field before the game and talked to some of the guys, and oh yeah, he fumbled. He wasn't saying anything when he came off the field. He coughed it up.
Clipping on the run back. First down.
So the Hornets first and 10. The possession instead of at the 40, back at the 25. So they'll have a little farther to go, 75 yards if they want to get for 6. 3:46 to go, plenty of time. Richard Williams. A pretty good first half of action so far. Hankins in motion. Play action, fake and roll to the right. Williams wants to go long. Looking for Lewis. Lewis catches it.
Can you believe it?
Down to the 17-yard line, and Bill Lewis, is that reception number 1 of the year for 1985? I believe it is.
I believe so. He's had some problems hanging on to the football this year. Some injury problems have slowed him down, has cut down his playing time. And what a spectacular play that was.
Darrell Hall on the coverage, number 25, and Bill simply went over him, grabbed the ball, a 57-yard play, the Hornets. First and 10. Ball on the 18-yard line. Big play. Green in motion, swings to the back. Hankins up the middle. Hankins inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Dean Hankins. He'll do it all, 20 receptions and 40 carries. Pretty good balance for the fullback. And he's provided the only points for the Hornets, a 1-yard burst at the 11:59 mark of the second period of play. Gain of 5, second and 5.
Darrell Hall, musical name with John Oates. They did a song, I Say It Isn't So, isn't it?
Darrell's hoping it wasn't so, but he looked up. And Bill Lewis. Richard Williams will call a timeout to talk things over. Al Scherbeck and company. And again, we talked last week about Mike Zorn coming back, doing a great job. Bill Lewis losing some of his playing time, now comes back with a big one, Dave.
I tell you, Billy streaking down the left sideline and looked like the pass was going to be picked off. And look what I found. Big gain for the Hornets.
Had it not been for number 7, Harold Hicks, then that's going for a touchdown in Bill Lewis. Mike Zorn last week. Richard Williams goes out at the 9-minute mark of the second period of play. Biggest game of the year, so up to that date, no question about it. Zorn had been displaced by the freshman. He comes back in, leads the Hornets to the victory. It just did a great job, and you have to be tremendously happy for Mike Zorn.
You got to be really proud of a guy like that, because he's a guy that's been maligned most of the season, although his numbers really don't indicate that he's had that rough of a year. A guy that has completed 60% of his passes, 55 of 91, and 524 yards. So he's simply been very good out there. And he was thrown into the fire against the Taft Cougars, only threw for 69 yards, but really did the little things and ran the show well. Didn't make the critical mistakes that killed him, and that was the key to the game. Taft fumbled the ball 7 times, and Fullerton capitalized on those mistakes for the 20-6 win.
And Mike made a big third down run, a 13-yarder that kept the drive alive that resulted in a Hankins touchdown. The Hornets won that one 20-6. Work still to be done here. Second period of play, the Hornets 2nd and 5 from the 13. They have 1 timeout remaining. A counter move to Johnny Green. He blows over the right side, and John's inside the 10-yard line. Great pursuit that time by the defense of the Lancers, but Katnick, Anderson, and Knutson just drive blocking straight ahead. and Johnny Green will fight forward close to the first down.
Not a lot of fancy French pastry that time, just straight ahead, blow him off the line of scrimmage. Give it to the premier running back the Hornets feel in the conference and let him do what he does best.
David, the Hornets are showing many sets to this young Lancer defense, and it's paying dividends thus far.
Well, normally teams against the Lancers haven't had to show many sets. When you're giving up 35 points a game, there's not a lot of things that they're doing outstandingly well, but Pasadena's played tough. You hold a good Fullerton team to 7 points in the first half. You're obviously doing something very good out there. Thus, Fullerton needs to make some adjustments on the offensive end.
Give John Green 5 and a first down for the Hornets down to the 8-yard line, so first and goal from the 8. And plenty of time, obviously, 2:29 to go. So the Hornets took over with about 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go, and they've come a long way in a short time. Courtesy of Bill Lewis. What a catch.
Seemed like they were going back and forth across that 50-yard line with penalties and sacks like a ping-pong match, and the big Lewis gain got him close.
Lewis out of Los Alamitos. J.T. Snow. Cats are off over there. And are they going to call a timeout? Yep, the Lancers want to talk about it defensively, so they have time to talk about it. We want to remind you again, Jeff Jesperson at halftime, our Hornet profile for the week. Dave will have him on tape, and then if Bill Chambers can get all of the ankles wrapped and everything that needs to be taken care of, he's going to come up here live the last few minutes of the halftime activities. Get a chance to talk to him. We'll have halftime stats, and just a great halftime coming up.
Boy,
stay there.
All for one low price. I can't believe it.
David, PCC has tradition in football. We've talked about Bakersfield in our last cable cast. We've talked about Fullerton, and there's 6 people currently in the NFL. PCC's got a few guys that are fairly well known.
Well, how about Jackie Robinson? I think his name rings a few bells. Ding, there it is in the sports annals. Outstanding Brooklyn Dodgers, UCLA, and of course Mike Lansford, who kicks not too far down the road, Los Angeles Rams, and Jim Wilkes, linebacker with the New Orleans Saints, and sending many outstanding players every year to the 4-year level. The past few years, New Mexico and UNLV have been recipients of fine Pasadena athletes. And past years, Pasadena used to be a feeder school to USC. All the kids used to go there.
Well, they use the SC uniforms up at home, the blue and cardinal.
Play the song,
excuse
too.
me, the gold and cardinal. Blue and cardinal wouldn't look that good together. And they play Conquest after every
I watch your
touchdown.
suit now, blue and Concord. Who are you to talk?
First and goal, Richard Williams, 10 of 18 on the evening, 136 yards. Will he go up top? Nope. Johnny Green out to the side. John sidesteps at the 5. John stays on his feet. Right at the 1-foot line, John Green. Oh, what a run.
I tell you, up until last week, the Taft game, he could have complained for not enough hours on his time card, really alternating with 3 running backs. And watch Johnny Green, first of all, break a tackle from Alex Wright. Look, have him. No, you don't. I'm going to lower my horns, bang my way to the goal line, and drive back and nearly get in the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you, it looked like he made it that time, and they just marked the ball about an inch or two away. Second and goal. Split backs, a pro set. Now Green, slot left. He'll go in motion. Will Hankins get the ball? Hankins over the right side. Hankins touchdown. Number 2.
Tell you, Green does all the dirty work, get him down close, and Hankins just gets that 1 yard and the touchdown in the stats.
Well, Dean says, you get it down close. I'll carry the mail across, guy. Hankins' second touchdown of the evening. Todd Reynolds in for the PAT, trying to make it 14-0. Minute 20 to go, second period of play. It's down. It's up. And good. 14-0 the Hornets. Johnny Green, 10 carries, 43 yards, but Hankins carrying it across.
I tell you, that's just not fair.
Well, you got the guy who's in the spotlight. Hankins had 1 touchdown going into the Taft game, 2 last week, 2 this week, 5 total for 1985. So he's starting to get the hang of it, kind of likes it. 14-0, Fullerton over Pasadena.
The hang of it.
Slubowski will come in and kick it to the Lancers. Don't go away, folks. This Lancer team is number 1 in scoring in the Pac-9, David. They give up 35 points a game. but they can score some of their own.
28.7, they've scored 211 points, and nobody really in the conference is even close to that number of points scoring throughout the season, but they're 2-4, reason being they give up more than they take.
And they played two very tough teams, Henderson and Tyler, Texas, to open up the 1985 campaign. That's a real tough way to get going.
I tell you, they had 7 turnovers against Tyler, otherwise they might have won that game. They lost 45-33.
Schabowski will squib it. The short man lets it go to Derek James at the 11-yard line. James slides through but can't get away. He'll go to the 25. A return of 14 for Derek James, and a minute 15 for Anthony Walker, and the Lancers trying to get on the board. Now, they should have been on the board already, David. If Anthony Miller hangs on to that first play from the Lancers, they go up by 7.
Well, Anthony Miller has a propensity for finding his way into the end zone. He dropped the first play of the game. Otherwise, they would have scored. He's a guy that scored 5 touchdowns this season, had 3 in the first half last week. So he's a guy who's a threat to go at any moment. Right now, isolated against Willie Mack, man for man.
Man-to-man, the ball said 7 will go over and help him. 2 tight end arrangement, Knox and Jeff Barnes. Brento Van in the eye. Play action fake going long. Miller is open. Miller at the 40-yard line. He'll be out of bounds at the 25.
And number 2, Anthony Miller.
Deion Snow, Jeff Malstead, and Willie Mack could not keep up with Anthony Miller. What an athlete.
Not many people can. Alfiola said he just hoped that they would throw to the wide receivers and they could get help in double coverage back there because they don't have the athletes that can stay with guys with 10-4, 100-meter speed.
A long gain down to the 25-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Lancers. A minute 6. Plenty of time to go. They're trying to get on the board. They trail by 14. Walker with Van back to throw. Going long, looking for Al Blades. Al Blades doesn't know where the ball is, and it falls harmlessly into the end zone. Well, he's only caught 2 this year, and if he keeps looking like that, they may be the end of it. He had no idea where the ball was. He was looking over the right shoulder, the ball thrown over his left.
You really can't blame Al, just a miscommunication. The ball was thrown towards the center of the field, and Al Blades broke out. In fact, if he catches a football, he probably wouldn't recognize it because he's only caught 2 all season.
2nd down and 10 from the 25-yard line. That 50-yard pass to Anthony Miller. They result in some points. Knox in motion to the bottom 2 tight end set with number 34, Dwayne Lawler. Walker going to the corner. Walker with Nglima. Great coverage. He knocks it away. Tom Nglima, what are you doing with Anthony Miller? Staying with him stride for stride. Number 40.
I tell you what he's doing. He's getting in the line of scrimmage and getting in his face right at the snap. Bump and run. His dad's right about 3 rows in front of us, giving him a standing ovation. The only guy standing in the place. His son did an outstanding job defending that time around.
That was great coverage from Tommy. Tommy coming in at 5'9" and got up there in good shape. Already an interception on the evening. Spunky guy.
You really got to challenge a guy like Miller, make him commit. If you sag back and let him call the shots, if you will, from the offensive spot, you're really dead and at his mercy.
3rd and 10 from the 25. Anthony Walker delivering the ball on target here, and Glima's fine play kept him from going farther. Van into the secondary, but falls short. I believe he was tripped up from the bottom. Number 32, Terry Page from the linebacker position, just got a hand out and knocked him down.
Normally a guy like Van doesn't go down with a hand. We saw the great linebacker Rivera from Cerritos. He broke through him like he was Swiss cheese in the entire Cerritos defense. Last week, 26 carries, 189 yards, 2 touchdowns. That earning him Offensive Pac-9 Player of the Week honors.
He had a 31-yard touchdown run against Cerritos. It ought to be put in a can somewhere and saved for everyone to see. Timeout Hornets, they used their last one. 21 seconds to go. 4th and 7 for the Pasadena Lancers, and they were going to go for it. Hornets will use their last timeout to talk it over. In that touchdown run by Brento Van, he exhibited all of the talents, David, that you look for in a tailback. Speed, pretty good size on him, but boy, he just hit Mark Lopez and drove him about 4 feet. Did a 360 move and never broke stride, in for the touchdown.
He also did the splits and spun the ball like John Jefferson once he got into the end zone. probably has some other talents we can't even think of. He's just that outstanding of a player and can take a tackler head on and juke him as well. He pretty much is the kind of guy that can control a game by himself, and he showed that last week against Cerritos. Hasn't been as much of a factor tonight, but has shown those glimpses of brilliance.
By the way, we want to thank Rod Foster in the communications department up at Pasadena for sharing some video with us so we could take a look at that. Rod Foster, ex of Fullerton College, now the assistant dean of communications up there. Larry Shirk with KPCC, very nice and helping with some information. And we try to bring you as balanced a view as we can on both teams. We quite often know more about the Hornets because we follow them, but doggone it, we make an attempt to try to find out as much as we can about the other team. And David even stays unbiased most of the time, except on the sidelines of the Taft game. You got a little excited last week, Dave.
Oh, it's kind of hard when you're at a game like that not to be caught up in the action. If Hal would have gave me a helmet, I'd have probably ran in there.
Good thing you didn't get near one. 4th and 7 from the 21-yard line. Lancers, 21 seconds to go, trying to get something on the board before halftime. Walker, fan in the eye, stays in the block. Walker goes to Blaze, intercepted by Tommy and Glema. Tom at the 10 reverses his field. Tommy at the 25. Tommy will go down the clock with 10 seconds to go. Mr. and Glema, you did a good job.
Might get an extra plate of spaghetti when he goes up tonight. They've had 6 defensive backs in there. Brought in Dion Snow also to help out at the safety spot. And simply throwing in a double coverage, and Glema with his second pick of the evening, 3rd of the season.
And a big time to get it, too. He's going against the best, Anthony Miller. Good coverage, as you said. A lot of help from his friends there and left him the underneath zone area. And he put himself in the right position, leaped high into the night and brought it down. So the Hornets, only 10 seconds to go. They'll fall on it. They're content with a 14-0 lead and 6-5, and you see it counting down. Halftime here at Fullerton District Stadium, and a good first half it was, 14-0. Fullerton College Hornets over the Pasadena Lancers. Dave, a little synopsis, capsule of the first half.
Well, the Hornets struck first, 11:59 in the first. Dean Hankins' 1-yard run, the point after by Reynolds Good, 7-0 Fullerton. 1:20 remaining in the first half. Dean Hankins' 1-yard run. Sound familiar, huh? Green does all the dirty work. Hankins from a yard out. Point after by Reynolds Good. 14-0 at the half. That's where we stand right now.
Remember, Bill Chambers coming up at halftime. But first, before we have Bill, who'll be live, we told you earlier David had a chance to talk with the defensive line coach of the Fullerton College Hornets into his 6th year here at Fullerton. Hornet profile for our game here in the Pac-9 game at Fullerton District Stadium. Let's take a look at Jeff Jesperson, and David talked to him earlier in the week.
Ornery, miserly, unyielding, stingy, vicious. These traits are generally considered quite unflattering. The name of Dickens' Ebenezer Scrooge comes to mind right away, but to the names Zuniga, Unger, Healy, Page, Carter, and Glema, Vanderstay, and Carden, well, they would accept these words as graciously as a child accepting an ice cream cone. The Fullerton defense is considered as strong as any in JC football. Each ball sure enough brings Browning leaves, but also a stinging Fullerton Hornet defense. This unit held the once considered unstoppable defending national champion Taft Cougars to a third of their normal offensive output to ignite the fire of a 20-6 win, that over the number 7 team in the nation. The intense play of the Hornet D is triggered by a man equally intense, but just as warm off the field, Jeff Jesperson.
What do you look for when you're out recruiting or you are watching spring practice and the drills? What types of things are you looking for in a kid when you look for him to play on the Hornet defensive team?
That's a good question. You know, when we're recruiting, and especially from a defensive standpoint, because offense, I think you end up more in a position type recruiting. Defensively, what we're really looking for is kids that can play in what we call our front 7, and obviously we have a secondary. But the main ingredient we're looking for is a kid that just wants to play football. And I'll be very honest with you. I know that sounds awful, elementary or mundane in that, but we're looking for a kid that just wants to run and get after the ball. And we really feel, because our defense is so multiple in our basic philosophy, that we can plug a kid in anywhere as long as we can find a kid that wants to play and wants to get to the football. We can develop those other skills. So we don't recruit so much for position. We don't recruit so much for height and weight. We recruit kids that can run to the football. And a lot of times you'll find a kid in high school, he may not necessarily be a real fast individual, but when you watch him on film, or you observe him in spring football, he's one of those kids that the ball is snapped and he gets to the ball, and yet he may run a very slow 40 time. And so we take that into consideration in terms of we're looking for kids that can get to the ball. And so we don't recruit so much by position as we do by looking for football players that run to the football. And then we kind of, drop them in positions, and our defense is so multiple that we feel we can do that. We adjust the defense to the type of players we have.
Contrary to a popular belief here, you're not a native Californian despite the blonde hair, and I guess they're semi-blue eyes. And young girls, he is married and a father of 4 daughters and a son. And the names, I love these. A couple of them are just fantastic. Kenesha is one.
Kenesha.
And what's the other? Where do those come from, by the way?
Tashara and Jocelyn. Well, my wife really originated the names as far as where they came from. Jocelyn was taken from about 10, 12 years ago. I had a Indian girl in one of my classes, and her name was Jocelyn, and we just really liked the name. And my wife just kind of kept the name, and we named my second daughter Jocelyn. Tashara was taken from a friend, and it was a combination of 2 names. Yeah, and they were of Russian descent. And Kenesha is basically a name my wife made up, and she just put some names together, and we've really liked the names. We've had a lot of comments on the the originality of the names, but they fit our girls, and so that's basically how we came up with them.
Okay, you're involved with recruiting a lot of defensive players and outstanding names that have been here in Hornet history. A kid who played running back for you a couple years ago, and even last year, Damon Swayze, star on the offense, kind of came here with an interesting story, and your family member, wife, had something to do with it.
Well, it's interesting. I lived down in Mission Vale in that area, and Damon Swayze, who was an All-American here, he lives down that area also. His family just happens to be neighbors of ours, and his mother babysat 2 of my daughters. And during the process, Damon left Toro High School and went on to a 4-year school on a scholarship. And he had some things there that he was not real happy with. And he started talking to my wife, and she actually, through no method of recruiting, just started talking about what a great place this was. People think that can't quite be true. I never even talked to him.
So is she getting a percentage of your check because of this, or? Well,
there is a slight inducement there. No, she just told him what a good program it was, and he got interested, and he came up here on his own. And naturally, we talked to him, and he liked what he saw, and he enrolled here. And obviously, we're very happy that he did. He was a very, very strong contributor to our success the last 2 years.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Jesperson. Okay, you got to tell me, you're Mr. Intense. She recruits a little bit. Who wears the white visor at home?
When I'm home, she's in charge. There's no question about that.
Back here at halftime, Fullerton District Stadium, high along the southern side stripe here, Lon Brunk, and our halftime guest, the athletic trainer at Fullerton College for 24 years now. Youthful-looking Bill Chambers. Bill, thanks for coming up at halftime. And everybody healthy here in the first half in this big game?
Yeah, we didn't get anybody hurt the first half. Willie Mack has got a little bit of a strain in his shoulder, but I think it's probably when he got burned on that first play early in the ball game. But, everybody's going to be able to play this second half.
Bill, you've been here 24 years, and 5 of the last 9 years, you've been named JC Athletic Trainer of the Year. That's quite an accolade for the entire United States, and you've been active in that program and promoting physical fitness and training throughout America. How have you been involved? I believe you've been involved even outside of the country, too.
Well, I was president of the National Athletic Trainers Association for 4 years. And then I was asked to go down to Australia about, I think, 4 years ago, and I spoke to the Australian Sports Medicine Federation. I would travel about, I guess, around 11,000 miles around the country just talking about the way that we do things up here. And then I serve on the CIF Injury Committee and just try to promote safety among athletics so that the kids won't get hurt as much.
Now, the high school training, is that improved over the years that you've been here at 24 years at Fullerton College? Have you seen an increase in the ability for the high school trainers to work with athletes?
The high school trainers is almost non-existent in most of the places, and this is where the real wasteland is. And this is an area where they need it the most because the kids are real young, and a lot of times injuries are not taken care of properly, and consequently they have things that they the rest of their lives. some school districts do have high school trainers, but unfortunately here in the Fullerton district and around, they just have not seen fit to hire trainers to take care of the kids.
Just a matter of finances then, or there's certainly people who are being produced from programs like yourself who can go on to be trainers?
Well, it's primarily finances, getting their priorities in the proper order. Normally, whenever they make budget cuts, they always hammer athletics or physical education, and this is just one area that they haven't seen fit to, hire somebody at.
Well, you've been part of the Hornet family for 24 years now, Bill. It really is a family, is it not?
Well, it sure is. Just before we went on here, we were talking about that. Hal and Al have been here 25, and I've been 24, and Marv's been here 23, and of course Dr. Mack was here before they even had electricity and telephones, and so he's been here 27, 28 years, and it is really a family. And I can't imagine not having all of us together doing what we're doing on Saturday nights.
Daughter Cammie here 2 years, now gone, and she Hornet cheerleader, did a great job.
She's working in a bank, and so she's trying to get rich working in a bank, which I don't know how in the world she's going to do that.
A lot of money around you, not much can you take out.
She can't balance a bank book, but she's working at a savings and loan. I'm not going to tell you which one.
It has to be nice. You've been here 24 years, and to have wins and games like last week's game against Taft, everybody on the sidelines just pumped up and ready to go.
Oh, it was super. That was so much fun last week. Go up there, and when we rolled out of that godforsaken place up there, there was nothing but black and gold tears flowing down the streets of Taft. I'll tell you, and it was really a lot of fun. It was just a tremendous challenge, and our kids really played well, and it was what it's all about.
I've got a whole lot to talk to you about. Doggone, I'd like to have about another 10 minutes to talk about high school athletics, the new knee braces coming in, and some new things coming in, an athletic trainer. But I hope everybody got a chance to take a look at you and see who the guy prowling the sidelines is, taping everybody up. Bill Chambers, thanks for coming up.
Thanks for having me up, Lon. I enjoyed it very much.
Athletic trainer Bill Chambers here, 24 years, and it just seems like a few days. 14-0 the Hornets at halftime. They've gone up on 2. Dean Hankins touchdown runs at the 11:59 mark. Hankins goes over from the 1. As Dave said, Green and company does all the work. Hankins goes over. Hornets lead at 7-0. PAT by Todd Reynolds. Hankins again at the 1:20 mark. Make it 14-0. And David, the stats not that far apart, but the disparity between rush and passing for the Lancers is a little surprising.
We talked about Green versus Van coming in, the two premier tailbacks that would appear in the first half. Brento Van 30 yards, John Green 43 yards. Overall rushing, not very impressive. 23 Fullerton, 39 Pasadena. The passing, 136 Fullerton, 91 Pasadena. We expected balance. Williams, 10 of 18, 136 yards. Walker, 7 of 15 for 91 yards and 2 interceptions. Tommy Anglima had his hand on both of those. Overall yardage, 159 for Fullerton, 130 Pasadena. And Miller was a very big part of their offensive scheme of things. 3 catches for 68 yards. Penalties even out. And so far, overall, you have to say, not the offensive shootout we would have expected.
Well, 14 points put up by the Hornets. Of course, that is something they would like to have had to get a lead here against this Pasadena team. They will be kicking off to the Lancers. Going left to right, the Hornets in their home blue and gold. You see them surrounding Hal Scherbeck and assistant coach Bob Mitchell there in the middle of it all. Third quarter about ready to get underway here. The Hornets up 14-0. Fullerton District Stadium. Lon Brunk, Dave Lewis, hope you enjoyed our visit on tape with Jeff Jesperson. I certainly liked seeing it one more time. That was a great piece, David. Good job.
Thank you very much. You got to thank some of the other people behind the scenes. Richard Franco with that great tap footage from last week, and also Steve Harris, our director, who was in the editing room cutting it together. Really a lot of people behind the scenes that make a piece like that go together.
Big team effort. Schlabowski ready to get underway. Anthony Miller, Derek James back ready to receive. James from the 5. James number 4 in the conference. He has room. He has a seam. James goes down at the 30. Deion Snow got a helmet on him and knocked him down, but that shows why he's number 4 in the Pac-9 in returns at 30-point average. That time a 22-yard return for Derek James, number 29. A little bit of a dynamite in a small package right there, David.
Reminiscent of Reggie Brown on the Fullerton side, although he is really established and has done a great job On the other side for Reggie, we're just waiting for him to explode at one point during the season.
The Hornet defense has bended a little with Anthony Miller. They have not broken yet. 14-0, they lead it. Anthony Walker at the helm for the Pasadena Lancers, and Mike Knox, 86 in motion. They give the van up the middle. He's met by Terry Page at the 30.
Number 32, Terry Page.
Terry Page stops him after a gain of 3. And the sophomore linebacker from Hemet stood him up, held his ground, and knocked Brento Van down.
You watch the Hornet defense, they start off with 2-3 men at the line of scrimmage, and then just before the snap, they make a lot of adjustments, and that really causes a lot of problems on the offensive side of your Pasadena to make those adjustments just prior to your snap of the football.
Harold, Florence, Reap, Dolan, and Kawakawi across the line with Jeff Barnes at the tight end. Van and Evans in the backfield, Blades and Miller the wide receivers. 2nd down and 7. Give the van off the left side. He's met by Sean Carden, but he fights forward to the 35-yard line. Nice gain on 2nd down, and Brento Van doesn't go down too easily. You get him, and he seems to be able to just slide a little bit. You can't get a real good shot at him, and he fights forward for 2 or 3 more yards.
Well, even when you do, Carden hit him head on, and the helmet right in the chest, but Van has that upper body strength to drive forward for a couple of extra yards.
So a 3rd and 3. Gain of 5 on that play for number 35, Brento Van. Hornet defense shifting, 3rd and 3. Again, a familiar pattern.
Here they come.
Keep it. Walker down. Menches at the 25. Keith Menches, 96, the sophomore out of Esperanza, got into the backfield virtually untouched, and Walker went down after the play-action fake. Did not fake number 96.
Nobody touched him. He came through completely clean, and Kawakawi, and that's a mouthful in itself, missed the block that made it all possible.
Lujan back ready to punt it. This time it's a nice snap. Here comes Andre Spencer, but he doesn't get it. Reggie Brown, fair catch at the 44-yard line. The Hornets take over in great field position.
Don't you love that name, Kawakawi? In fact, we got to mention this too. If you've ever been to Hawaii, you have to pronounce every vowel of a person's last name. For example, this is spelled K-A-A-U-K-A-U-I. Ka'awakawi.
Ka'awakawi.
This
Is
lesson,
that like King Kamehameha Boulevard?
something like that.
1st and 10, Hornets from the 44. A short punt of 24 yards for Lujan. Richard Williams, a freshman under control here. First freshman starter at quarterback for the Hornets since 1981. He throws it incomplete to the sidelines, looking for Aaron Grimm, his favorite target. You do have to go back about 4 years to Roger Wilson before you see a freshman starter for the Hornets. Richard redshirted last year, came in this year, number 3 on the depth chart, but all of the coaches felt that he was a very good quarterback. They liked Mike Zorn and Tom Duarte ahead of him, and the system here at Fullerton is you earn your stripes, you work your way up. Zorn got his shot, Duarte got his shot, Richard is still shooting his. 62%, 2nd and 10 for Richard and the Hornets. Green in motion from the 44. Earl Jones, one-on-one, gets by his man at the 50. Earl inside the Lancer territory at the 48. Yep. Really the Seaview Player of the Year on defense, David. But this time they're converting him to a wide receiver, and he's responding.
I tell you, one of these times Alex Wright's going to get a hold of somebody and pop them because he's missed a lot of tackles. Guys like John Green, that time Earl Jones, and then if it wasn't for Daryl Sayers and so Hall, otherwise he would have went for a long game.
A gain of 7 for Earl Jones, and Richard Williams catching number 7 on the year for Jones. Only 5'9", but receivers coach Marv Sampson really likes Jones and number 20, Reggie Brown, the 2 freshmen. 3rd down and 3. Give to Green. Ball loose. Did Green fall back on top of it? I believe he did.
Oh, what a break. It bounced up right into his chest.
Recovered by Green.
And Green recovered his own fumble.
John, who had a slight case of fumbleitis to open the 1985 campaign, has done a pretty good job. That time the exchange not really clean between Johnny Green and Richard Williams, but he did get a fortuitous bounce, and John will say he knew that's what he needed to do to get the extra yardage for the 1st down. A gain of 4, that'll take it to the 45-yard line. The Hornets have been blessed with some good field position. You see the bounce and John falls right on top of it. 1st and 10. Green in the slot right. Now back to the top of the screen. Williams in the pocket. Over the middle, complete, yep. Aaron Grimm at the 35-yard line. The Lancers protest.
I thought I heard it skid, didn't you?
Maybe picked up a little green off the turf. But Aaron looked like he might have gotten his arm under it. The officials there in good shape to call it.
If he didn't catch it, he did a good bit of acting because he got up very confidently as if he made the catch. And 3 Lancers were immediately on top of the officials saying it was a trap.
Wes Lopez, Katnick, Anderson, and Knutson in the line, along with Tom Poore, number 87, the tight end. 1st down for the Hornets. A gain of 11 yards. Richard Williams at the helm. Green and Hankins, the backs, with Aaron Grimm and Rich Rollins, the wide receivers for the Hornets. Wiley Stower, Cessa Passara. Williams and Wright, front 7 for the Lancers. 1st and 10 from the 35. The Hornets trying to take advantage of good field position. A drive has started on their own 44. Cleo Bennett fights inside to 30, maybe to the 30-yard line, a gain of 5. Cleo does not get a lot of the ink, but he's a fine back in his own right, David.
I tell you, he's a tough cookie. He played sparingly in the Taft game last week, and he made nothing but good things happen. Just 27 yards a game long of 19, 163 in the season, but he's a guy to spell green and does an outstanding job. You really don't have a drop-off in talent when you bring a Cleo Bennett in the ballgame.
You have a feeling if John Green wasn't around, that Cleo Bennett would have some numbers very similar.
Where's the number of a guy that was a reserve last year that would have had a great season if there wasn't a Damon Swayze? That Charles Ray.
2nd and 5. Ray and Swayze went on to 4-year schools. Williams, short pass to Jones. Jones has it, stays on his feet. Nope, he went out of bounds. At the 26 and a penalty marker on the play. Number 98 took a late hit, Fred Stevenson's. I don't think he knew that the whistle blew. That was kind of a tough call. He was bouncing Jones out of bounds. The play was ruled dead at the 26-yard line. That would be a gain of 4, and that's going to be a dead ball foul against the Lancers. That's a tough call.
It's a really tough call. He's playing with a broken right arm and now a broken heart as well, because that penalty moves the Hornets closer to the goal line, and the Pasadena Lancers aren't out of the game by any stretch of the imagination, but you have to be solid on the defensive end and not make the silly mistakes like hitting a wide receiver out of bounds.
Dead ball, personal foul, defense, 1st down.
He's not holding anything back when he tells us, is he?
1st and 10, the Hornets at 15 yards. Moves it up inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. 14-0 Hornets. 10:30 to go, 3rd period of play. Williams with Cleo Bennett and Hankins in the backfield. Jones to the bottom, Grimm to the top. To Bennett, up the middle. Bennett towards the 10-yard line, tackled by that same number 98, Fred Stevenson, along with nose tackle number 97, Mike Cessa-Passara. You do this Lancer team, you have to be able to handle your vowels and syllables, do you not? They got him across. That backfield for the defensive backfield for the Lancers, Cobb and Troy Mike at the corners. That's right, not Mike Troy. Troy Mike, number 5 and number 1 respectively. Harold Hicks and Nettie Ulaguano at the strong safety. Just rolling them off here. 9:52 to go.
Gesundheit.
2nd down and 6. To Bennett. Bennett over the left side. Burst to the 3-yard line. Cleo Bennett. We were just talking nice about you, and you great run.
Didn't disappoint us. That time, Poore, Anderson, and Katnick, the men up front, opening the hole for Cleo. Those guys deserve some credit, too, because without an offensive line, even a great running back can't go anywhere.
Ask Eric Dickerson when the Rams' offensive line injured this season. That's going to be a gain of 6 and close enough for a 1st down. Replay, David.
Look at Cleo shake and bake, then lower his head and give those big guys up front credit once again. Anderson threw the key block to Springer.
And according to the spot, it appeared that he went down to the 3, but knee down at the 4-yard line. So they'll mark it. The Hornets will either be 1st and goal or 3rd and very short. And it's a 1st down. Fullerton by the length of the football. Cleo Bennett now comes out. John Green comes back in. He moves it close. Bring in the big guy, the sophomore John Green out of J.W. Sexton High School in Lansing, Michigan.
He used to boogie in the streets of Detroit as a youth.
Said he used to play with Magic Johnson, Irvin Johnson. Sendejas at the fullback, first and goal, play action fake. Williams has a man open, Tom Poor can't get it to him. Poor was in the back of the end zone, standing there jumping up and down, and Richards saw him. But a lot of pressure coming from the secondary. Darrell Hall blitzing from the strong safety position, and pressure by Fred Stevenson, number 98. And 87 Tom Poor was all alone for a moment or so, Dave.
He was standing right on the back end line there, waving his arms, and there's a lot of traffic there, so Richard couldn't see the man right in the center of the field because that's where all the pressure was coming from.
Second and goal for the Hornets. They're trying to go up by 21. They lead it 14-0. 9:21 to go, third period of play. Williams up the middle, Hankins for his third. Just short of the goal line. Dean Hankins trying to get his third touchdown of the evening. Finally wrestled back to the 6-yard line under the Lancer defensive charge. But that's going to move it very, very close to the goal line stripe, Dave.
Tell you, the Lancers are getting in some good shots down around the goal line, and some other people that are getting some good shots too. We should really give thanks to the guys in the truck and Steve Harris and guys that are making shots like this possible, turning towards the goal line. Hankins just a buck short.
John Katnick there to help out his buddy, but not enough to get him across. Third and goal. Big play for the Lancer defense. They want to try to stay as close as they possibly can. Williams to Hankins. Hankins in the end zone. Touchdown, Fullerton. Sophomore fullback Dean Hankins from Montrose, Colorado, carries it across for the third time tonight. A 1-yard run, and ditto. 20-0 Hornets. 3 of them from 1 yard. Todd Reynolds trying to duplicate his 2 PATs. Flags fly, kick is good. We'll look at the results of this. Another flag goes flying. There's activity in the middle of that pile up. I believe John Katnick still on the ground down there. Tempers may be getting a little short down there, Dave.
Tell you, a lot of flags in that play, more than the opening series ceremonies of the Olympic Games, I think, huh?
Orchestrated by David Wolper, perhaps. We have not seen a lot of penalties in this game. We talked a little bit about the Fullerton's problem with penalties. Really, the last couple of games they've had problems with the yellow flags. There's not been a significant factor in this game so far. They're sorting it all out down there. One thing you have to say, Dave, is we've seen action throughout the Pac-9, the officiating, and particularly Orange County, which we see most of the time, the Orange County officials. Offsides against the Hornets, they'll do it over. Personal foul, Pasadena. Now they can't get too much closer. Move it back 5, and then they should move it back halfway. Yes, this is exciting. Like watching a free throw in the NBA, huh? That's just about, well, loss of about a yard.
Personal foul.
Yeah, well, that was very meaningful. Thank you so much.
And actually, it's about 1 yard farther back than it would have been. So Todd Reynolds, instead of from the B, maybe about the 11, we'll go back to the 12, and he'll try the PAT one more time.
I don't know if he's got this kind of leg. That penalty really may have cost him.
May have put him out of range. PATs, 5 of 7 of the year. 6 of 8. 21-0. 8:40 to go. Third period of play. Todd Reynolds says, I can take it. That extra yardage doesn't bother me. He puts it across.
And he had leg to spare, too, on that one.
Not a bad crowd here on a Saturday night here in the city of Fullerton. We're at the confluence of Lemon and Berkeley in Fullerton.
Con what?
If you haven't been to a JC game or a high school game, get out and see him. I'll tell you what, it's some really exciting ball. We had a chance to see Chuck Weatherspoon of La Habra last night, and what an activity he put on. 284 yards rushing. Some people said if they give it to him enough times, he would have had 500. Quality back out of La Habra, coached by a former assistant here at Fullerton College, Bobby Ralph. His team in first place in a Freeway League. He will play Troy High School, coached by another former Defensive assistant of the Hornet, John Turek. So that'll be going on next Friday night.
What about his big brother at Colorado, the big fullback, Anthony Witherspoon?
Yeah, they call it the wishbone offense with Anthony. From the 10, Derek James takes a line drive kick. He'll squirt to the right side. Schlabowski's after him and misses him. Derek James up outside the 35-yard line. The kicker, Schlabowski, almost got a hand on him, but not enough. James up to the 35-yard line. A return of 25-yard. Tim McKeon, 69, in on the tackle. Comes off the field limping, and halftime guest Bill Chambers will quickly come to his aid, we are sure.
Can you believe Schlabowski's mad that he didn't make the tackle? You know, your kicker normally lowering your helmet down to special teams, but he's a little irritated at himself.
From the 35, the Lancers trail at 21-0, third period of play. Anthony Walker. At the controls one more time. Short step, he goes over the middle, and Anthony Miller just looked up a little bit. The ball went between his hands, something that certainly is not standard operating procedure for number 2, Anthony Miller.
I tell you, a couple of balls that he's dropped, he could be arrested going through the airport because his hands couldn't get past the metal detector, you know?
He had 3 receptions for 68 yards and should have had a lot more. That first one could have gone for a long gainer. Walker 7 of 15 in the first half, and he's had quite a few balls dropped, as has Richard Williams. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Slot to the left. Screen maybe set up for Robert Oliver at number 83. He gets it and goes to the 46-yard line before he's coaxed out of bounds by number 7, Jeff Malstead.
Coaxed?
Decidedly. Oliver sees limited time at the wide receiver position. He'll come in a slot formation like Al Blades, the other wide out for the Lancers. Doesn't see much action. He only had 1 reception. That's number 2 for 1985. So if Miller isn't catching it, not too many other people are outside of the tight end position.
And they were fearing before this game that if they used the running backs and tight end more, Al Fiola said, our secondary is in big trouble because we can't match them athletically at those skill positions. And so far they've been exclusively essentially going to Miller. They've thrown to Blades a couple times, but he's only caught 1 pass tonight as well.
That gain is going to be just short of the Lancer 46. They're going to have to come across the field and measure it. Should be a couple inches short if you go by the chalk marks on both sides of the field. Either way, the Lancers will be in pretty good shape, either 1st and 10 or 3rd and very short.
Remember the hero for last week's game coming off the bench against Taft?
Michael Zorn.
Guess who's warming up on the sidelines?
Well, Mike Zorn keeping fit. We don't have any information about Richard Williams being hurt. He seems to be in good shape, perhaps, as they say, getting some pitching in between starts. Little short, as we surmise, from the 46-yard line. That'll bring down the 3rd and about a foot to go, just about the length of the ball. And this kind of situation, David, is ever dangerous. You look to stop a short yardage gain, and oftentimes you see a long yardage gain come out of it.
A lot of times you'll throw 8, 9, 10 men at the line of scrimmage, and that doesn't mean that there's a lot of people in the secondary to tackle somebody who breaks off that big gainer. So a lot of times you break that initial wave of tacklers, you're off to the races for a tremendous gain.
There he is, David mentioning Mike Zorn. Steve Harris, our director, giving us a shot. The sophomore from Irvine, the hero of the Taft game last week, and everybody was excited about Mike Zorn coming back and doing a fine job. 3rd and short. Knocks in motion to Anthony Walker, keeps it himself. He may have it. I don't know. Very, very close. I believe he got enough for the first down. He only needed a helmet length. Nick Unger and company trying to make sure that did not happen. They will more than likely have to measure again, Dave.
I don't know if he made it. He really didn't get a lot of surge, although he didn't need much. Anthony Miller's saying, yeah, we got it.
Hornet defense of Unger, Healy, and Koza. The 3 down linemen, Dan Unger, Nielsen Acevedo, and Tommy Matthews have seen some play in there. And how about the play of number 60, the freshman Nielsen Acevedo in the last couple games? Has he come on?
He has been outstanding. Played a great game in limited duty up in Kern County against Taft. And I remember seeing him play a couple years ago for Buena Park. You know, they ran this kid out of the backfield. He was their starting fullback, a 235-pound fullback who was just unbelievable. Now stopping people from getting a first down at the other end.
They are short. That'll bring up a 4th down, and the Lancers in their own territory. Decision time for head coach Bill Sandstrom. He's going to go for it. Number 45 will be coming in for the play. Bill J. Hand. 4th and about 2 inches to go. The Lancers trying to keep a drive alive.
Put on your seat belts.
Brent Govan over the right side has the first down. We'll be back in a moment with more Hornet football after this brief pause for a tape change by your local cable channel.